listeners. Welcome back to Nerd It Out. My name is Evan.
My name is David.
And Nathaniel is not with us right now because
We cut him.
We cut him from
He
the team.
asked too much money. We cut him. He's free agent now.
No, that's not true. He is busy and needed to take a day off today, which is totally fine because we have sort of a new announcement today that David
Is going to Caribbean.
is the new member of Nerd It Out. He's the new official member. I know we've had him on before, and we've had a lot of guests on before, but we really like David, and he's a close friend of mine. That probably is why he won the job.
And
But
you offered me a good contract, $3 million for 4 years. I appreciate that. Is that up front? We never did. I don't think we negotiated that.
it's like Kirk Cousins, fully
oh,
guaranteed.
God. I don't understand.
Well, we're not here to talk about
Okay,
sports,
yeah.
but thank you for
I
coming on
appreciate
and-
the honor of letting me come
Yeah.
on here and ruin what you had here. I like to I like to be the iceberg that sinks ships. That's just my role in life. But
we're the Titanic in that
you're not even
example.
the Titanic. You're like that Canadian boat on Lake Michigan.
the
You don't even have
the Costco brand Titanic.
yeah, Costco, Smart and Final,
Sam's Club.
Sam's Club.
Sam's Club.
What was the other one? The other
Oh,
cheap
gosh.
one.
I know there's
Winco.
Winco. Oh,
Yeah.
God. That's terrible.
All right.
Okay.
Well, okay.
All right. So news.
Well, I'm here. That's news.
Yeah, that is news.
So weekly news. So we're gonna just start off with the movies. Quiet Place, starring Emily Blunt and John Krasinski.
Krasinski, I think.
Office Jim. I
Yeah,
just call him
Office Jim.
Office Jim.
Office Jim,
That's
yes.
only what he'll be known as. And I'm surprised because IMDb gave it 8.7 out of 10.
Yes, and critics who got early screenings have given it 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's crazy.
It looks really good.
I mean-
I'm really excited. The first time I ever saw it, I saw the trailer for it anyway, was in Germany, and I thought it was a German film initially.
Right.
But then I found out that it wasn't. The very first trailer that I saw is brilliant because it tells you everything about the plot without saying a single word of dialogue.
That's
I
true.
love that so much.
That's true.
And
I like it.
It looks so exciting, and I can't wait to see it.
I worry about it though, because especially on trailers of movies like that, where it's mostly thriller, a lot of the expense of the trailers is all of the thrills in the movie, and the rest
Yeah.
is kind of off place.
I think it'll do a good job of not like ruining that by putting all the most suspenseful scenes in the trailer. I feel like there's going to be a lot more that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
So I think we'll be okay.
as long as they don't pull a split where all of the best parts are the trailer, then I mean, not to say that wasn't a good
I
movie.
mean, Split was still a good movie.
but It was a very good movie.
I remember watching the trailer, and it got to the end, and I saw that it was directed by M. Night Shyamalan. I was
Yeah.
like, I was
Oh.
really excited about it before, and then I saw that, and I just said, oh.
To be
no.
fair, he redeemed himself. He went back to what he knows.
It was okay. No, yeah, it was. It
He
was
brought-
really good. It was a really good movie. It was surprisingly good.
Yeah.
He tried to throw that twist in the end with Bruce Willis and his character
Spoiler.
from whatever. It's been out for like 2 years now, so
Right.
whatever.
Anyway.
if anyone feels spoiled from that, that's your fault.
I
I'm
know,
sorry.
right?
Anyway,
it was a good movie though. But,
you have
yeah.
another movie that you saw that you.
Well, yeah, Quiet Place opens on April 6th, and a movie that opens up before that is Dog Isle, and
Which you're really excited
I'm
about.
super excited. I love movies that are able to use old art styles like stop motion, clay
Mm-hmm.
animation. Like some of my favorite things as a kid was watching Wallace and Gromit.
Oh, yeah.
and those kinds of movies that Chicken Run.
Jeez, Gromit.
I know. I wanted to go to the moon just to prove there was cheese there. I loved that. But
so
I'm
good.
really excited for that movie. The direction and how many voice actors are in that movie
Mm-hmm.
are impressive. And I think more movies should go that direction where you
Do you
have a lot
know?
of
Do you know the
creative hands.
cast, or do you know any of the cast off the top of your head?
I believe. Let me see. I think. Well, anyway, I think the movie is coming out. If I remember right, I think it's out already. But as far as the cast, I'm trying to think. There's a few people on there. I know Scarlett Johansson's in it.
Oh, wow,
Who's-
really?
Who's the guy from Groundhog Day? I'm totally having a brain fart.
Oh, Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. Yep.
Oh, cool.
Tilda Swinton, Bryan Cranston, Jeff Goldblum.
Wow.
There's a
That's-
big
That's a loaded cast.
Yeah, that's just the few of them. Edward Norton's in it, which
Oh,
that I'm
wow.
more excited about than most of them. Like, cause
The dude from Fight Club.
Yeah.
And the guy who was
Yeah.
the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
That was quickly replaced by Mark
Recasted.
Ruffalo.
Oh,
that was
man.
so quick.
I
Like,
was very upset because I was kind of happy that he got a role,
Yeah.
but then it was just like, why is Mark
I
Ruffalo here?
kind of liked him as the Hulk though. I wish they kept Edward Norton.
Yeah,
in
I mean,
the-
when it was originally like in the movie, Robert Downey Jr. was in that movie, so I was
Yeah,
just
I
like,
know.
oh, so if they're gonna throw him in the movie, he's definitely gonna be there. Like, you can't just nope. They don't care.
They didn't care about continuity about the
Nope.
Hulk that much.
But I'm excited for that movie personally. If I have any creative sway on this, we might do a review, maybe a
We
5-minute review.
Well, I know that you and Nathaniel will be on your own for at least 2 weeks. So if you guys wanted to do a review on that, you could. So
Perfect.
you could talk to him about that. I think he said something about wanting to see that movie like off the podcast. So I think you would have a good chance of seeing that together and making a review off that without me.
Right. So we can have a real fun. No,
So you can
Enjoy
do
ourselves.
the real podcast like without me. Right.
but all right. Well, moving on.
yes.
I think you and I are more excited about this than maybe Nathaniel is. Dragon Ball Super movie dropped this week. Release date
The trailer, the
Yeah.
teaser trailer,
and
dropped,
December
yes.
14th this year. And
is the Japanese release.
Yeah.
But we're not sure if that's going to be a global release or anything like that.
Yeah.
But the animation style in the teaser is not. That it has been confirmed that that's not the animation style of the movie. That's just for the teaser trailer, which I'm got mixed feelings about because it looks good, but I also would appreciate it if they just sticked with the
Original artwork,
Yeah, the
kind
original
of.
artwork, like for like Battle of Gods and Resurrection F. I
Yeah.
wish they would just stick to that because that's what we all know.
Yeah.
But the animation for that trailer does look good.
True.
It looks different. So
That's true. The same with a lot of animated movies, they get these different companies that come in and they want to put their own creative twist on an old franchise. And I know they do that with a lot of movies, like One Piece movies and Naruto movies. They usually mix up, stylistic, colors and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm excited to see. And I guess transitioning from Dragon Ball, the last episode's coming out next week.
The last episode, I think, is airing tonight. I think.
No.
I think it is airing tonight.
Oh man.
It's either tonight or it's either this week or the week after. Either way, we will be doing a big time 3-episode review on the last 3 episodes of Dragon Ball Super. We will be doing that.
Definitely.
And we'll be giving a fresh take, fresh review. We'll watch all 3 episodes beforehand and then hit the record button right after that.
Yep.
It'll be very fresh and in our minds. And me and David, I feel like, are going to be very involved in the conversation, just because I feel like we're bigger fans of that.
And Nathaniel will be crocheting a hat while we are talking about that.
He'll be knitting
Yep.
knitting a scarf in the corner.
It's just here you go. Here's an
No,
ascot.
Nathaniel is still very involved
yeah.
in Dragon Ball. He loves it as well. But just like you and I have been following it very closely.
Oh yeah,
longer.
It's our
than he
childhood.
has. Oh yeah. So
so what have you been into recently? It's been a little while.
it's been a while. Yes.
Games you've been doing?
I've been into 2 games specifically. Shadow of the Colossus, the remake,
Right.
which is still really good. It's just how I remember. It just looks stunningly beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is The Witcher 3.
Yeah. And you were telling me about that earlier.
Yes.
And what you
And
enjoyed about that game.
yeah. I downloaded it a while ago. I started playing it, then I stopped playing it for a while, and then I just came back to it about last week ish. And it's very good because it doesn't hold your hand as much as like story driven games. It's very
Freeform.
Explains the basics and how to fight and how to travel and all that stuff, and then it says, okay, go for it.
Yeah.
You figure it out. And there's literally missions where you have to figure it out on your own, and the game doesn't tell you what to do. You select like a mission, and then it says, "Okay, here's your next objective." But then there's nothing on the map that tells you where to go. So you just have to figure it out and go do stuff until
Go
you
find it.
Yeah, you literally have to go find stuff
Yeah.
and like look for clues, and you can't. And it won't just hand it to you, which. I was thrown off at first because games don't normally do that, but
No.
it's still a very fun game, and I've been enjoying it so far, and I think the characters are really fun. And
I like that games are going back to kind of Super Mario 64, where they're just like, here's where you start. Good luck, and then just kind of let you go. And I think that's why those games succeed so much and why they stick around.
yeah, there's so much replayability in those
Yeah.
because you can do things differently.
You can speed run it. You can do every 100%ing, and I know a lot of people our age. We go back to those classic games a lot.
Oh yeah,
I'm just like,
absolutely.
we're going, play it differently.
Yeah,
And-
I can definitely see myself playing this game now, and not necessarily going for a completionist. I'm definitely in it for the story. However, you do have to be very involved in the side missions and stuff going on around you. Otherwise, you kind of get lost in the story and like what's going on. So I think The Witcher 3 is probably one of the better games out there right now. Like if we like today we're doing a top 10 movie list, but if we were doing a top 10 video game list, The Witcher 3 might be pretty up there.
It would be
for me.
pretty high. Yeah.
It'd probably be like top 3 at least. I did get a magazine recently from GameStop. I have a membership there, and they sent me a list of the top 300 games ever.
Ooh.
And The Witcher 3, I think, was in the top 10, I think.
Oh, snap.
It was pretty high. It was either top 10 or top 20. I can't remember.
Right.
But I gotta get that list in here at some point, and we can talk about those.
Kinda
and
go over it, yeah.
Yeah, we can say like
Top 50 or whatever.
what we agree and what we don't agree with. And
Yeah.
we'll say, oh, well, here's a game that I play that I really love, but it's down here at like 257. Like,
Right. We could even make a game out of it. Just have, if we take the top 50, right, and then just pick 10 games that in our mind we're like, okay, this deserves to be at least in the top 50.
and then we go through and find
Yep.
it.
And then you get a point system for how high up your
I like that.
your
That's
video
good.
game is. We might be able to do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
We can run that by Nathaniel. Nathaniel,
So-
if you're listening, we should do that. Anyway,
We are doing that. Two votes out of 3 wins.
2 votes out of 3. We
No, I'm
win.
kidding.
Anyway, so that's what I'm into. What are you into,
Yeah.
sir?
I've been playing a lot of Civilization 5 on the computer.
What is that?
That is a game where your life is gone after you start the game. You are playing as a civilization. It's a huge game. So the point of the game is you go from the beginning of a civilization to modern era.
Right.
So say for instance I start as Egypt, and you're on this map of kind of this world that's built for you. And you have oceans, you have resources like gold and stuff,
Right.
and luxuries and stuff like that. And you basically build an empire while other civilizations, whether it's CPUs or other players on that map, are also building their civilizations. And you go through time and you can study literature or kind of focus on war. And there's multiple ways to win the game where you can be a higher culture than other civilizations, where you influence them, kind of United States style, where we have like a huge influence in Japan and some of the other places like that. Or you can win a war victory where you just go in and shoot everybody, kill everybody,
Like America.
right? Like America. Or you could do like you win by votes through like a council kind of thing, where everyone else in the world will vote for who they want the world leader to be, or a science victory, whoever gets to space first. So it's a fun game, but it's so fun, but at the same time it takes a whole day. I remember probably a couple Saturdays ago I had a day off from work, and I was like, I want to sit down and try and do a whole game. And I probably started at maybe 9 o'clock in the morning. I didn't finish until 2 a.m. the next day, because I was just I was that into it.
Good grief.
And it's, games like that keep you engaged and they keep you locked into it, and I like that. And it kind of strategy.
There's
games,
a lot of replayability.
Oh,
in
totally,
games like
completely.
that.
Because you don't have to play as one civ. Each
No.
civ has their own different, unique
Attributes
structure.
and different things
Absolutely.
about
You can
them,
play
yeah.
as Venice, where you don't get to have more than one city. You have cities too. You can
Oh,
move
wow.
and plant. If you want to download it on Steam, it's usually it's like $25.
I haven't logged into my Steam account in like 5 years.
It's just
I had a friend gave me this laptop to play Steam games on, and I haven't played it since.
you should.
I played it played Steam games like a few months after he gave it to me, and then I haven't played a Steam game since. So
you should. I highly recommend it. I know if you like long paced strategy games, you'll very much like this. But I've been playing that. Kind of got back into Pokemon Emerald a little bit. The
Oh,
randomizers.
wow, really?
I love the
Oh, wow.
randomizers. I've
Yeah.
seen people do Nuzlocke and got that on my phone. So whenever I when I'm supposed to be working,
I'm thinking back to the conversation you and I had when you told me about me and my fiance how we should do a
Yes,
a
you should.
a Nuzlocke and call it Wedlock.
you should. You have no clue how good that
babe,
would be.
babe, are you listening? We should totally do that at some point.
You must do that and record, because that would be fantastic.
I don't know how she'd feel about recording.
She might
stuff,
like it.
Maybe we'll see. I mean, she'll give me her response after
Right.
after hearing this probably, but we'll see.
You
Anyway,
have to put your foot down, Evan. You have to be the head of the household here. Be like, we're doing this. You don't have a choice.
our relationship does not work that way. We are very, very even.
Yeah.
We're not.
Diplomatic relationships are the best ones.
Yes, not one person demands how everything is going to go. Like
Right.
that's not our relationship at
Yeah.
all.
Anyhow,
Anyway,
moving on to the main topic.
main topic time. So, Now, as you guys know, we have had a bunch of Marvel movies come out over the last 10 years.
A lot.
About
Not enough.
19? No, 18.
Mm-hmm.
18 or 19.
Yep.
It will be 19 with Avengers Infinity War coming out.
Which they should have timed that so it's 20. That would have been so nice.
I know that would have been nice.
Yeah.
But, so what we did is we compiled a list of our top 10 favorite Marvel movies for us, like ours personally, our favorite movies, and then we're going to compare ours, and then from that we will make a final top 10 list. And if you don't agree with it, then tough squash.
Yep.
Now, going forward, David.
I think we should do this because I know we're going to piss some people off if we start from the worst and go up to the best. So I think if we start right in the middle.
No, we got to go start at 10 and then just see people and then just see it go up, because then it's
All
like
right.
if you're starting with 10 and it's like, why are you putting that at 10? What could possibly be number 1?
Right.
I love those. Okay.
Okay.
So you'll say your number 10, I'll say my number 10, and then we'll go up from there.
Should
Okay.
we flip a bottle cap for this?
Yeah, do it.
So what do you want, top or bottom?
Top.
Okay. Oh, okay.
All right, you go first.
I go first. All right. So my number 10 is the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. No, I'm kidding. I'm completely
That's
joking.
not even it's not even right. Okay.
I'm kidding.
The first one is X-Men 3. That's yours, but that's my top 10 list over there. Oh, I saw. Really? Oh, but which one though?
My number 10 is Iron Man 2.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Now my number 10 is Iron Man 3.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I prefer 3 over 2.
Now explain that to me.
I think
Is it just 'cause in the series-
it explores Tony Stark's character a little bit more, and it goes into a darker place,
Right.
rather than Iron Man 2, where it's kind of just all over the place.
But in a way, that's kind of the situation he was in. He just became Iron Man. You know, he's getting publicity.
Yeah, that's true.
That was the structure of the movie, and I felt
Right.
like as a 10, that was a good place to start, because that's kind of, in a way, how he started with, thinking, oh, maybe I should
Oh
join
yeah,
the
well, just
Avengers.
wait till we get to like.
I know. Yeah.
Wait till we get to 6. I think you'll be surprised when we
Oh,
get to
man.
6. But okay, so you're number 9. Go for it.
Civil War is my number 9.
That's still my list, bro.
Oops. We have two. We have a
Wow, Civil War at 9?
yes.
Really?
Yep. And here's the thing. I enjoyed the movie. Don't get me wrong. I
Right.
enjoyed the movie. It was a great movie. A lot of star power in it. Spider-Man was, shown in that movie. It was a great movie. However, in my mind, I don't know. It was very divisive. I didn't feel like it didn't set you up for the future of, the Avengers are going to be back. It was very splitting. And I get that was the plot where people
Well,
were like,
yeah.
Team Captain or,
It was
Team Iron Man.
Yeah, this was this was the movie setting up Infinity War. Basically,
Yeah.
It's like the events right before Infinity War. Everyone's split up, and then stuff happens, and they have to get back together.
Yeah.
It's like definitely setting the stage.
Yeah, but in my mind, I was just like, the whole plot was very pushed, where it was just like, okay, well, this is happening now. There's very divisive. Should the Avengers be free agency? Should it be monitored? And then kind of splitting up, and then everyone's like, oh, we don't want to do that, and then it's kind of the conflict starts, and then they start recruiting
Right.
people, and then there's the
Yeah.
the
Well, I
Iron
mean,
Man
to be
conflict.
fair, like I feel like Infinity War will be like that, where they have a plot that they're trying to push, and they push to get it told.
Yeah.
Because with a cast that big, with that many stars, then yeah, it's bound to happen. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, well, my number 9 is Iron Man 1.
Really.
Yes, it holds a very close place in my heart, because this was the movie that really got me into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I was
Right.
not a huge Marvel fan coming into this. I was most familiar with Spider-Man, and that's where my extension of the Marvel Cinematic Universe ended, basically. Spider-Man, and then all the Spider-Man villains and all the characters associated with Spider-Man.
Right.
I did not know a whole lot about Iron Man and Captain America. I was more into DC with Batman, Superman, and all that stuff.
Right.
Iron Man was the first Marvel movie that got me hooked on the Marvel
That
Cinematic
universe.
Universe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason why it's not higher is only because It's an older movie. Looking back on it, it doesn't hold up as well, but it's still it's higher than Iron Man 3 only because it has that sentimental value in my heart.
Right.
That's the only reason why it's
Yeah.
not.
No, I get that. I get that
Yeah.
completely.
So, okay, number 8 for you, sir.
Number 8 for me is the Avengers movie.
Well, the first one?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Now, here's why.
My mom will be mad, but
I know,
okay.
I know. But here's why. To me, when the Avengers came out, they just finished. I think Captain America was the recent one.
Yep.
Before they launched it, and when it came out, it was a great movie. Everyone had their moment in the movie. The the Loki conflict was really nice.
Right,
Seeing
right,
Hulk smash whack-a-mole style.
Hulk.
Everyone.
Smash.
Yeah, everyone loved that movie.
Right.
The reason it's this far down the list is that I feel congruency in the movie, probably a good 75% was just action based, which I'm not saying that's a problem, but on
Right.
the storyline,
Like
very
having
minimal.
more action in the story does affect plot. No, it
compared
does.
to the other movies to follow, the plot and the importance in the overall universe, it's
Right.
very minimal compared to what follows.
Well, to be fair, all the standalone movies were building character, and they were all building character and building story up to
Right.
this point.
Right.
So I feel like they thought in their mind it was justified to have more action than story, only because it's like they built so much. Then it's like, okay, now we can have a little bit more fun and just kind of have them go crazy because everyone knows who these characters are.
Exactly.
I think that was the reason why there was more action in the story. But I do agree. They did it wasn't as balanced as I
Yeah.
think I would have liked it to be.
I would have liked at least, maybe a 40% of where they interact with the other, they interacted with each other.
But more of that.
It just, when Iron Man first showed up, when Loki made that whole crowd of people bow when he showed up, it didn't feel like there was any, interaction between Captain America and Iron Man. There wasn't really, they didn't have like any kind of, who are you,
Mr.
explain
Stark,
who you are. Yeah,
Captain.
Exactly. It's like, there's not really
I mean,
a lot of
that kind of
character
just
build.
that kind of just said a lot about their characters and who they are. It's like they're not big.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not really big on like super
Which-
big ceremonial things, and then you find out later that they're not like super fond of each other anyway.
No,
so
yeah.
I think
hence Civil War beforehand.
yeah.
So
Well, you
what
can
is your
you can
number 8?
you could just like copy and paste that over to Avengers over to number 8 for me.
really,
Yeah,
Ah.
and that's I think that's going to be a universal. That's going to make into our final.
so your number 8 is Avengers 2.
Yeah, Avengers
Ah.
1. Yeah, Avengers
see.
1 as well. I think for different reasons. I think the reason why I would put that one at 8 or put that one so low is only because it's compared to all the other movies that came after that. And the ones before that, really, this one was very much like a comic booky, jokey movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like that sometimes takes away the seriousness from the impending doom. That's like, the apocalypse is coming. All these aliens are coming out of this portal, and they're all like cracking jokes or whatever. And I get that because it's an Avengers movie. It's a comic book movie. So having some, longevity is fine. Like having people laugh and all that stuff is whatever. That's fine. I just think sometimes tone that down and like have it more let the serious moments be serious.
Yeah.
was my kind
Yeah,
of
I agree.
nitpick looking back on it. I was like, okay.
Right. To be fair, it like made almost like a lot of money.
It
It's-
totally did. And I'm not saying, okay, I want to preface this right now. None of this were like, because we have like some of these movies really low on the list doesn't mean we think they're bad movies.
This is the top 10.
This is the top 10. So
like,
it's
you got to
like,
remember
there's still like 9 movies that are on this list.
Yeah,
So
and that's the thing is when we're talking about these movies, it's because they're so good that they're on this list. you
right,
know?
absolutely. And they're higher and lower for their own reasons, but they're still on this list and we still love these movies. I just want to put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not putting any of these lower because we hate them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway,
now we got the politics aside.
Yeah, so 7. Go for
Yep.
it.
My 7 is Doctor Strange. Because for more than one reason. I enjoyed the pacing of the movie more than the other 3 in the past.
Right.
The other 3 felt pretty much the same. Action, 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 and then some storyline.
I feel like all the ensemble casts are very much action,
Yeah.
story, and then the standalone ones are story, action.
Exactly. And that's
It's
the
more
thing.
it's
is-
more half and half.
But with Doctor Strange, I felt like it was very even paced. Where when he was introduced to the movie, showed his character and it showed what kind of person he was, just like they did with Iron Man. and all the other introductory movies.
He's basically Tony Stark, but a neurosurgeon.
Exactly, and that's the thing was that I enjoyed about it is there was a familiarity about it, and you kind of saw that, and then
You kind of connected right away.
Yeah, you're very engaged in that universe too, where it's almost this unknown that you're put into, and I enjoyed the visual part of the movie where you kind of saw
All the illusions and
Yeah.
everything. It looked like you were looking in a kaleidoscope.
exactly.
It was cool. It was cool to look at.
I enjoyed
it. Made me
it.
sick a few times, but it was okay.
Yeah, and I enjoyed the character too, how he developed through the movie, and it was very enlightening to see somebody.
He really had an arc.
Exactly.
Mhm. Oh,
Where
yeah.
instead of kind of this Captain America thing where you kind of had a almost an epilogue through the first few part of the movie, where you saw what he pretty much was like through through the entire early part of his life before he became Captain America. You didn't really see him change.
Yeah.
Like the Iron Man style
Or like every Batman or Spider-Man movie before,
Right.
where they retell their whole story.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, we know what happens.
Yeah.
Like, people who aren't fans of this know what this
Exactly.
is. Like, come on.
And I think in that sense that's why I put Doctor Strange so high, was because he's one
Saying
of the,
7 is really high is funny, but
yeah. Well, I mean, for the movies that are coming up, it will be.
yeah.
But to me, it's such a good movie.
You might be surprised at my number 5 though when we get there, but we'll see.
all
You might be.
right.
Anyway,
Okay.
so for me, number 7, Avengers 2.
Ooh.
I put the sequel above the original. I think this was a rare occasion where the sequel was better than the.
It was.
Was better than the original.
It was.
because it took the things that were good about the first one, and then it expanded on them. So this one, whereas the Avengers was more like action story, this one was more like action story. Like
Yeah.
this did a better job at balancing story
Absolutely.
and action, and you got more development and more like camaraderie between the characters.
Yeah.
and that's why I think I would take Avengers 2 over Avengers 1.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that's my quick little thing about Avengers 2 and why I have it at 7.
I
So-
completely agree.
so-
And especially in Avengers 2, which I think in Avengers 2 there's a lot to be said about like the development of the actual Avengers as a group.
Yeah.
Because you notice how
well they all work together.
Exactly.
And they've been doing that for a while.
Yeah, and how Black Widow you can kind of see her as a minor role, even though she helps the Hulk, and she's very congruent in the cast, and especially going into Civil War, you can kind of see how they develop into their own almost groups in the Avengers. How you have Thor and Iron Man and the Hulk kind of are their own three. They enjoy each other. They seem to get along better than Captain America,
and Black Widow, and Hawkeye. And
yeah,
all this. Yeah.
And it kind of it's divisive, but you also see that development that brings you into Civil War, and I completely agree with that.
You see a little bit more of the tension starting to spike
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah, definitely.
and the ego is going into
It's
it.
a good precursor for the
best
next movies,
lead
yeah.
into to what Civil War was the scene when they were at the
house, and they were just like chopping wood.
and just
And Captain America just rips a log. I was like, dude, what?
just like, come on,
It's like that's not fair.
Tony Stark can't do that.
Okay.
But-
Okay. So number 6 for you.
Iron Man 3.
Wow,
Number 6.
that's really high up there, bro.
Now here's why, because
I'm listening.
here's why Iron Man 3 is so high on my list, because it really shows the character of Iron Man evolving from I'm a rich guy, this is what I can
So
do.
it's kind of my reasoning, but you just liked it better.
I felt it higher because in a way it's leading into what we can expect going into what we saw with Civil War and what we're going to see in the Infinity movie, where we're going to have a more wiser,
Right.
better, judgmental Tony Stark, and how he was with Homecoming, where he was more
He's more of like a
logical.
father figure.
Exactly.
Almost,
He's starting to understand that he can't just be that young guy anymore.
He's not that young guy anymore. I
yeah.
think he knows that now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
So-
all right. So number 6 for me, Doctor Strange.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I see. Now,
I'm one above you.
right.
And I think the same reasons why you liked it so much was because it did a lot of showing and not telling, I guess, when it comes to like his character development. And
Yeah.
you did see him kind of develop, just by meeting different people, and you saw him change. And then I think also just the illusions and everything really helped with the with the movie, and it definitely made it more dynamic. I
Oh,
loved his cape. That was
Oh,
like, I
dude.
think it makes an awesome little sidekick
Yeah.
when he's like throwing the guy around and he has the the cape wrapped around this guy's head and he's just like doom, doom, doom,
Yeah,
doom.
it's so good.
That one's so funny. That part in that movie made me cry. I was
It's
laughing so
very
hard.
good.
It's just like little things, and it's just a good story. Like
Yeah.
it's a really good redemption story of a guy who's kind of a douche,
Yeah,
and then he falls apart, and then he sees that he has to rely on other people
yeah.
in this world, and he can't just rely on himself, which I
And-
think is a really good story.
And to put in tandem to what I also liked and why I put Doctor Strange on the list was you had the Yoda character of the movie. I can't remember her name, but you
The elder one.
yeah, and you kind of see how, and it kind of explains how people have to do things bad sometimes
That they're
to-
not proud of.
Yeah, to get to where they are and to make an overall piece. And I enjoyed that part of the movie. How
Yeah.
it makes sense and that's relatable to a lot of the future events
For sure.
in Avengers.
Absolutely.
All
so,
right.
number 5 for you.
You're not gonna like number
This might
five.
be where we really.
Start hating each other.
Yes.
Number 5 for me was Avengers 2.
Okay, that's not terrible.
So here's why, though. For me,
Why'd
it's
you put
that
V2?
because I can't. Look
Why not-
how bad.
Why
look,
not? Why not A2?
I put when I wrote his just for a creative visual. I actually wrote out Avengers when he said, Avengers on his number 8. On mine, I put Avemore for my number 8. Then when I put Avengers on the other side, I had a stroke at the R and the S at the end. And then on number 7
that looks,
for his,
that looks like
Avengers, yeah.
Avengers.
and then for his number 7, I put Avers number 2. And now I'm just like, you know what, V2. Why not?
Okay.
I'm gonna have a
Anyway.
pulmonary embolism by the end of this. But I put Civil War so high up because I felt like the story itself.
You mean Avengers 2?
Yeah, Avengers 2. I'm sorry.
Civil War is way down there at 9. Anyway,
I
sorry.
felt that Avengers 2, the whole plot of the movie is setting up more than just more than just Civil War. It was
Right.
You kind of saw why the Hulk disappeared, which led into Ragnarok. You saw Thor kind of just be there after the events of Dark World.
right.
And and it kind of showed each individual character, including Captain America after Winter Soldier, and also Iron Man 2 and
Right.
3. And you've seen from the difference between Avengers 1 to Avengers 2, you've seen them progress from what they were to what they are now, and what you can expect in the next Avengers movie. And so, being that Avengers: Infinity War is coming out soon, the reason I put it at number 5 is because of that. Is that you see how they handle this villain who's succeeded in almost splitting them apart, and in that way you can kind of see how you're going to have some sort of possible conflict going into Avengers: Infinity War. You're going to have something that you may have to worry about. Are they going to repeat the Age of Ultron issue? Are they going to end up having this split of conflict like in Civil War?
I think there's going to be something that will come up referring to that, and I think
Yeah.
that will bring them together.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
we can't split apart again, or we can't be so easily broken apart, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It might be aligned something close. If someone says that word for word, I will be like,
Yeah.
I am a god prognosticator. I called it. Okay, so for me, number 5, get ready,
Uh-oh.
Captain America 2,
Oh.
The Winter Soldier.
Now, you're going to have to explain yourself here. Because
Really?
a lot of people would think that Winter Soldier may or may not be one of the lesser movies. In my mind.
I liked it because what it does with Captain America's character is really good, and what I think is really good about it is that it's similar to Ragnarok in the way that they have an established character, so the story and the development of the character kind of takes a back seat, but not in a bad way. It's
Right.
like it's not the main focus, but you definitely see development of all the characters that you already know. But the action in this is just so much better, I think, compared to like the first Captain America.
Yeah.
I mean, even compared to the first Iron Man or
Right.
anything like that. It's a lot better. A lot of it's more realistic. I know there's superhumans we're talking about, but
Right.
And I think the emotional relationship between Bucky and Captain America, or Steve Rogers, those characters in that arc, I think it takes a really dramatic toll at the end where you see
Yeah.
the final fight between them, and I think that just that part that has so much emotional weight that if it didn't have that, the action alone would get it to like 9 or 8 from me. But the emotional weight of that fight brought it up to a 5 for me.
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
So that's my logic behind
Nice.
that. And it definitely adds like this whole this whole political conflict that most of the movies up to this point didn't have, where it's like we have the ability to take out all of our enemies before they attack us. We should do it.
Yeah.
And then Cap is like
Definitely.
taking the stance saying like, no, that's wrong. That's taking the choice away from them. You
Yeah.
know? It's taking the choice to be good away from them. And I loved that whole like morality
Totally.
the whole
Yeah.
morality aspect. I love that.
Yeah. All right.
So that's why it's at 5.
So we are now at halfway. We have
We have one that we agree on.
we have one that we agree on number 8. So why don't we condense this a little bit? So I feel like we should put Avengers 2 overall. We should put Avengers 2 at the 6th best movie.
6th, yeah, I think we can agree on
So,
that.
I
And then
agree
maybe
on that.
Doctor Strange at 7,
Yep.
because that's about in the middle for us.
And we're kind of at the end. We're kind of whacked out a little bit because you have Iron Man 1 at 9, and then Iron Man 3 at 10, and I have Iron Man 2 at 10.
Yeah,
So-
we'll get to those in a second, but we
Yeah.
have 3 spots agreed on, so we'll continue. We'll
Right.
continue from there.
We'll put the bottom ones
okay, so
later.
number 4. Who do you got for number 4?
Now I have at number 4.
This is getting to the nitty gritty right
I
now.
feel like we're gonna agree on a few things just because we.
I feel like we'll agree on the top 4, but I think the order will be different. Oh, I can't see it.
Guardians 2.
Oh, see, I don't have. Okay, sure.
So I loved Guardians 2 because it was not only was it helpful because in Guardians 1 most of the movie was just the action. You saw what the characters could do. In
Right.
2 you actually saw the expansion.
There's more story
You
and,
saw
like, more character
You saw the
development.
development. You saw
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord's father.
Peter Quill.
Yeah, and you saw a lot more from the characters, and you enjoyed the whole plot of the movie, and it leads into the events of Infinity War,
Right.
and in a way it develops the character a lot more. And God damn it, it's just a great movie. It's such a good movie.
It's like, damn it!
Don't question me, damn it. It was such a good movie. I loved, dude,
Yeah.
the line, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
We'll live in infinity."
No, I love that. It's like who is Mary Poppins? Is he cool? He's very cool. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
And that killed me. Spoiler, that killed me when he died.
No, that was hard
That
to
was
watch.
tough.
Okay, so 4 for me.
Yes.
Thor Ragnarok.
Really?
Yes. I love this movie because it doesn't take itself too seriously. It doesn't
Yeah.
take itself too seriously.
Absolutely.
Because it's developed Thor's character enough to where, okay, we'll Thor and then a cameo power of the Hulk, and
Yeah.
we'll throw in a
Goldblum.
a World War Hulk like storyline, or
Right.
Planet Hulk storyline rather. And you know, people will love that. People will love Gladiator Hulk.
Oh,
And
yeah.
what I love about this movie is that it still tells a really good story about like conquering your like fear. Like Thor's whole thing is he's going through like an identity crisis because, spoiler alert, his hammer gets crushed.
Yeah.
And he's having an identity crisis, and he keeps finding his identity in this hammer, and like who like that's who he was, and now
Right.
it's gone. And he has this, and there's this great story about like identity and like and a people like and of a people, like, you know,
Yeah.
Asgard isn't a place, it's a people. And
Yeah.
I think like that story is really good. However, they seamlessly add like comedy,
Yeah.
badass action scenes,
Oh,
like
totally.
seamlessly.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack for this was amazing.
Completely.
So good. All the like the 80s rock and
Dude.
so good.
And in a way, Guardians did that too. They had this
Yeah,
very
they had more
70s.
70s.
Yeah, 70s, 80s
and
vibe.
then Guardians 2 had 80s.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have Thor at
4.
At Thor at 4. But say that 10 times fast.
All right.
Don't actually, please. Now, I have him at 4 because like it's such a good movie, and it never took itself too seriously. It didn't seem like they were trying so hard, and yet they made such a good movie.
Yeah. No.
That's why I have it so high.
And you know what? Leading into number 3 for me is not Thor.
What is it?
It is Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Wow. Okay.
So Spider-Man: Homecoming in my opinion,
Huh.
was a movie was perfect because you had
Spooderman.
I put Spoodermon
Spoodermon.
on the little chart we have.
That sounds like a Digimon.
it's
Spoodermon.
gonna be a Pokemon one of these days. Yeah,
Okay.
but
Sorry.
as a movie, it was perfect. We had
Wow.
a character that we knew very little about, and developed him into an already existing character. That's why I think the old Tobey Maguire movies didn't work out so well. Was you already saw that okay, he identifies as Spider-Man. Iron Man's helped him, with the suit and everything, and he's already showing traits of a superhero. But in a way, he's doing this kind of minor superhero movie where it's this plot that doesn't seem so important, and then spoiler alert, it's actually very important towards the end of they're taking stuff from the Avengers when they're moving from the Avengers Tower to where they are currently.
Right.
And so in that movie, you kind of see the best parts of what a superhero is, where he's trying to fit in society, trying not to let people know. He
Yep.
has the struggle of the people who do know being in danger, and having to save the people who like during the Washington Monument scene where he had to kind of keep his composure. Oh crap, my friends are gonna die, but I need to be Spider-Man. And
I need to be a hero right
exactly.
now. Yeah.
And that's the thing that I loved about this movie, that not only because it's one of the most recent superhero movies, but you also had small roles by, Iron Man when he's just coming in and kind of showing that
he played a great father figure.
exactly.
In that
And
movie.
and I think moving into Infinity War, we're going to see Iron Man be more wise, and he's going to be a lot
we're gonna
less-
see more of that. We're gonna see that relationship build more.
Exactly.
I
You're-
can't wait to see that.
Me too, and I'm looking forward to that in Infinity War. But in my mind, Spider-Man was, especially the setup into how at the very end of the movie, spoiler alert, Iron Man's proposing to Pepper Potts, finally, and
Finally,
I know,
damn it.
it's about damn time, and so that's why it's at number 3 for me. So
Well, we agree on that one, sir. I
Hey.
have Spider-Man Homecoming at 3 as well, and I think Poop Man. I think for the same reasons. The only reason why it's not 2 or 1 for me is because I feel the love interest or like the romance in it was not needed, and I felt that was really pushed. But other than that, this was the best Spider-Man movie so far.
I kind of enjoyed the romance part because you kind of see
Yeah,
how
it was an
you don't
awkward. It was
always
an
get the
awkward.
girl.
It was an awkward high school love, which I
Yeah.
appreciate.
Yeah.
And I really related to like some of the parts in that movie where he felt like really awkward and his friend was embarrassing him in front
Yeah.
of the girl he liked.
Completely.
I definitely got that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just the love interest I felt was really forced to me. And if that wasn't there, or if they'd done that better, I think it probably would have been 2 or 2.
But in
or
a
1
way,
maybe.
I like that it kind of showed that you don't always get the girl at the end.
Yeah, that's true.
And that being that, the person that he thought was just a regular girl that he had a crush on ended up being the daughter of the main villain.
Right.
I was
Though
like,
that twist threw me
super
so bad.
Well, you and I went and saw the movie.
Oh my
and,
gosh.
I think the whole auditorium was filled with you making a gasp.
I was like,
Yeah, I was like, oh, but yeah, and in a way, I enjoyed that awkward high school
Right.
because he's kind of finding himself as a superhero. But I
yeah,
completely agree.
absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so number 2, we're getting down to it.
The big number 2, Ragnarok is what my number 2 is.
Wow, that's pretty high, dude. You know what? You know what? I think right now we could probably throw in Ragnarok at number 2.
Yeah.
Right now, I think for the finalist, I think. No. Anyway, so okay, so why number
Same
number 2?
reasons. I love this 80s kind of contemporary style that
Right.
that Marvel is going with, and I love that because they're going back to when they came out. They're going back to that big, colorful art style. And who doesn't love a movie with Goldblum being a pseudo Caesar on a planet?
Goldblum just played Goldblum.
Yeah,
he just played
it's so
himself in
good.
that movie.
It's
That's all
so
he
good.
with makeup.
And
Like,
what
that's
I
all he
loved
was.
about it was you had progressive, one of the most hard to progress characters, Hulk. You saw progression in Hulk, which was never really done.
Like as Hulk, not
Yeah.
as Bruce Banner.
Yeah,
Like,
Bruce
I
Banner.
thought-
We know Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
So, but you saw how the Hulk actually talked, and how you saw his personality more. He wasn't just crush, smash,
Right.
And and I enjoyed that part of the movie more than anything else. Is that you didn't only get Thor's. I have to find out who I really am. I need to rediscover the point of being Thor.
Right.
and you had to also see how Hulk was slowly alongside him doing the same thing. And
Absolutely.
you saw the end of, also obviously Ragnarok happened, otherwise it wouldn't be named Ragnarok.
Right.
But you also saw progression on Thor's part where he had a villain that he could not defeat. And Thor and Loki would, work together as much as they can, but there was no way to
And
defeat
still
them.
couldn't defeat him.
Yeah. So you saw that struggle where they realized they have to do something
Drastic.
in order to end, the threat.
Which
at hand.
ultimately sets up the beginning of Infinity War.
Yeah. when-
Like the Asgardians in space, and then Thanos just rolls up on him and is like, "Sup?"
Yeah. And it's like, well, that's going to be probably the opening scene.
It's like, "Oh shit,
Yeah. God.
no."
But that's why Ragnob
No.
is my
So
Number
number
two.
two for me, you're probably gonna disagree with me a lot.
what's that?
Civil War.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Civil War is probably gonna drop to like 5 on the list for us, like on the overall list. Oh, dude, come on. Anyway,
Okay,
so I think this movie will probably be compared to Infinity War, just when it comes to ensemble casts, and it does a really good job of handling conflict with like a full star-studded lineup.
Right.
And I think this was a precursor to what Infinity War will look like, and I think it handled the conflict really well and organically, and it built up this tension that had been built up since like the first Avengers movie. And it built up through the other movies. Captain America dealing with his own stuff against the government, and Iron Man dealing with his own demons. This had built up to that point. So then when we got there was this straw that broke the camel's back, and ultimately, where did you put that?
Nothing.
Anyway,
I'm sorry.
and then at the end, when it hits that boiling point, it feels like organic and it feels like justified. And that fight scene in the airport, good grief,
That was good.
Like, if it wasn't for the movie I have at number one, like if that movie hadn't come out yet and I hadn't seen that yet, Civil War would be number one.
Oh.
But
But
my number one is something else that's great on its own, and we'll talk about that. I think we have the same number one.
we don't have the same number one.
We don't?
I guarantee we don't have the same number
Okay, all right, so what's your number one, sir? Howard the Duck.
one. No. It's not Howard the Duck. Dude, Howard the Duck better show up in Infinity War, I swear to Christ. My number one is the OG Iron Man.
Wow.
The one that started it all.
We do not have the same
No,
number
we don't.
one at
and
all.
Here's why. Because in my mind, what is the best of something? The original. People go back and play Pokemon Blue before they're going to play Diamond and Pearl and Platinum. People are going to go back and they're going to watch the first few episodes of One Piece and Naruto and all the original episodes because there's that nostalgia factor. And I watched Iron Man probably a week ago, and I still, to this day, I still enjoyed how he progressed from being nobody with everything to a superhero. And he had the same things that I like in Spider-Man Homecoming and Doctor Strange, where he progressed as a character. Right. So in my mind, the best Marvel movie is the first Marvel movie, Iron Man.
We do not have the same number
No,
one, sir.
no.
So
I know what your number one is, though.
you do.
Yeah, Black Panther.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Black Panther. That's my number one, man. I mean, barring seeing Infinity War, Black Panther is the best Marvel movie right now.
That's true.
Like that exists.
It
It is.
is.
And it's not even on your list.
No. it is
Explain
not.
that, sir.
I liked Black Panther for many reasons, but in the context that it is in the Marvel universe, Black Panther was only introduced in Civil War,
Right.
And he just now got an independent film. The film itself is fantastic.
Yes.
The film as a film is fantastic, and I think that's why a lot of people like it. Is that it's not super connected to Marvel movie. It's its very own own movie, kind of like Ant-Man, kind of like Doctor Strange, kind of like
Ant-Man isn't even on
It's
this
not
list.
on the list.
As a Guardians of the Galaxy 2 for me, I like that movie, but that'd probably be at 11 for me.
Yeah, so
11 or 12.
And that's the thing is that a lot of these movies we don't have on here. It's not that they're bad or that they're the worst movies or we don't think they deserve to be on the top 10. It's just in context with Marvel, where does it fall in the
Right.
Marvel universe? And in my opinion, a lot of the movies I listed had multiple casts in the Marvel universe
Okay.
They
Well,
were building story and.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
I think
with your-
Black Panther is kind of like what you kind of hit it on the head there. It's doing its own thing, and it's being its own story without trying to be part of the cinematic universe, even though it clearly is.
Right.
And I think when I talk about movies and story, like best Marvel movies with like that have like the best story, Black Panther is the one because it tells the best story without trying so hard to grab. It doesn't need to grab outside cameos. It doesn't need cameo
see that.
power at
Yeah.
all. It just uses the characters that is in that universe, and it works so well. And you want to I find myself rooting for the villain in this movie at sometimes because he has good points that he brings up, and have you seen the movie?
I have.
You have.
Yeah.
Yes, Killmonger, he brings up great points in this movie, and they both want the same thing. Him and T'Challa want the same thing. However,
It's the way they go about it.
the way they go about
Yeah.
it is the difference. And seeing that, like seeing the differences, and then seeing everything being overcome, and the Black Panther finally deciding, no, we are going to share these resources because I feel like we're obligated to. I think that's like the best story in this lineup.
Yeah.
And it's a great like coming of age kind of story, but for a king, like that's so awesome. It's like King Arthur, but in Africa, and he's a freaking panther.
Yeah. No, it
So-
is a great movie.
Yeah.
And I agree with you in that, where it as a movie itself, it is fantastic. It has no.
I do agree. I do
for
agree
it.
with what you said with Iron Man being your number one because it's the
It's
OG.
what started
it's
it
the thing
all,
that
yeah.
started everything, and
Yeah.
it's like without Iron Man, there is no cinematic universe. I get that.
Yeah.
And that's why I have it on my list. I
Yeah.
have it kind of low. I have it very low only because it doesn't hold up story wise as well. When you compare it to
Newer.
newer movies
Yeah.
that have come out, it doesn't
Yeah.
hold up story wise.
Yeah.
But the reason why I have it on my list and I have it above 3 is that it holds like a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
nostalgic wise. Like
uh,
I'll watch it and I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
It doesn't look, it's not super great to look at all the time,
Yeah.
but it's still good.
Yeah.
Okay, Spider-Man: Homecoming, number
Ragnarok
1.
is number 2.
Iron Man 3. No, Iron Man 1 at number 3.
Yeah. Black Panther at number 4.
We made a compromise.
Yep.
That worked out. Captain America 2 at 5.
Yep. I agree with that. Doctor Strange at number 6.
Then we have Civil War at 7.
We have Guardians 2 at number 8.
We have Avengers 1 and 2 tying for 9.
Yep. And then finally,
Finally.
bring up the rear is Iron Man 3 at number 10.
Bring up the rear.
Bringing up the
With
rear.
the Iron Man fished.
Oh,
Oh, goodness.
that took you. You don't realize we cut out a lot of that.
That was a labor of love, but that is our list. If you don't agree with it, tough
bad.
squash.
Too bad.
Um,
Grow up.
Anyway, thank you so much, David, for coming on
Thank
and
you.
helping me sort out this nonsense.
I appreciate that you signed my contract. I hope you didn't read the fine print underneath there. There's some things that you owe me now.
Right now, well, yeah, the contract that I wrote for you.
Yeah.
That I didn't see the fine print.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how that works. You didn't see the fine print.
Uh-oh. It's going to be like the Santa Claus where it's like written inside the color.
Oh my god.
It's like, what?
Anyway,
All right.
oh, good grief. Well,
I guess in closing, maybe post what your guys' top 10 are, you know?
yeah, we'll be posting these on Facebook. So if you guys listen to it, listen all the way through. I guess
Maybe.
you can comment on the Facebook page. If you disagree with our list, we'll probably have some people that disagree, which is
Oh,
fine.
completely.
But with that being said, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye. What are you drawing there, bud?
I am drawing the United States of Chrysler. You see, we've got a nice weather front coming in here on the side, and then we also have a cold front that's over here. Also, there's another one over the Plain States over Montana.
That looks like two butt cheeks.
But up in Canada, you see, we have this large cold front, followed by the hurricane right here. You really don't want that. Sorry.
Is there whaling boats that are like escaping the
You-
hurricane right now?
Well, you see, yeah, we have a lot of missing boats. You see, a lot of the carriers are in the relief efforts up there, and we also have just one really spunky. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Seeing
This
it.
is a visual gag. No one's seeing this.
This is the best because only we can enjoy it. Kind of like Ray Charles.